Friends, today we enter the sacred Triduum with the Holy Thursday of the Lord's Supper. Feet washed, meal served, love shared. Today is the only day on which the church tells us, the priests, what to preach upon: the Eucharist, the priesthood, and the virtue of love. Someone asked Leonardo da Vinci as to why one side of his painting, the Lord's Supper, is totally empty. There was basically nothing on the left side of it. Leonardo da Vinci answered, "So that there is plenty of room for you and for me. Just pull up a chair and be received by Jesus. As the feet washed, meal is served, love is shared." Into this Eucharistic action of taking, blessing, breaking, and giving, Jesus invites us. This Eucharistic action leads us to communion. Jesus is the offering and the offered. Jesus is the host and the victim. The Eucharist is not only liberation from slavery of Egypt, but it is freedom from every kind of slavery of sin. Body broken, blood shared becomes the Eucharist. It is into that communion of taking, breaking, blessing, and giving that all of us are invited. Jesus today, at this Last Supper, transforms the ritualistic Jewish Passover meal into the Eucharistic communion. Washing of the feet is a sign of his affection and service. And tomorrow on Good Friday, he will wash us once again with his blood, as the blood and water will flow from his side. But how do we become partakers in this Eucharistic communion? We need to remember, first and foremost and fundamentally, Eucharist is not about what. Eucharist is about who. I repeat, Eucharist is not about what. The Eucharist is about who. Jesus Christ, breaking his body, shedding his blood for us, and drawing us into that communion of taking, breaking, blessing, and giving. And in doing so, we wash feet of each other, we serve meal, and we share love. It is God's Passover. It is God who passes over us, serving us, nourishing us, saving us. We have nothing to offer but to be amazed by these beautiful happenings and only to open up ourselves to receive the gifts. Just pull up a chair and sit as Jesus washes us, serves a meal, and shares love. Gospel of John mentions these details of the Eucharistic action. Eucharist as service. So therefore, as we celebrate today, the Eucharist and its institution, the establishment of the priesthood, and the commandment of love, how can we be partakers in this communion? Our response for this God's Passover is thanksgiving. We open ourselves to the graciousness of God. The sacrifice of the Lamb, the blood which is on our doorposts, and this self-emptying love and service that the Master does for us is the model for us to follow and do it for others. Washing the feet, serving the meal, sharing love. And finally, we are left with a directive. As I have done, so you must do. The commandment of love. This graciousness of God prompts us into action. And how can we get there? To this Eucharistic action of feet being washed, meal served, and love shared. Into this Eucharistic establishment, into this priesthood and its ministerial service, and the following of the commandment of love. We can do this three. We can become Eucharist to others and extend the service of the priesthood, of the ministerial priesthood, and the commandment of love when we truly understand Eucharist not as more of what, but Eucharist as who. Jesus Christ, body broken, blood shed. Feet washed, meal served, love shared. Father Praveen Lakkisetti, here at St. Pius X Catholic Church in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you and God bless. Amen.